The Medallion of Chaqua mod aims to rework one of the worst sets of racial mechanics in the game. The Lizardmen have long been near the bottom of the list of interesting campaigns outside of their DLC, but no longer. They've got two brand new mechanics and more ways than ever to drown the world under an ocean of scales. However, there's still only one way to avoid ads on these videos, and that's by becoming a member for just $1 a month. All the same videos, just 0 ads. The mod comes with a couple of mechanics. The first is the hunt for the medallion. This is a quest line that will be going on for pretty much your entire campaign. Your objective is to locate the 16 missing pieces of the Medallion of Chaqua. These are found by capturing settlements indicated on the map, and every time you capture one, new settlements are revealed to give you more options to find new fragments. It's worth remembering that whilst you have to capture the settlement to claim the fragments, you don't need to hold on to it afterwards. A lot of these are spread across the map, making them pretty impractical to own long term, so don't be afraid to capture the fragment then abandon them all in the same turn. Once a fragment is captured, you can view it from the medallion menu. Here you can view any effects it brings to your faction, and these come in 3 tiers. The first is unlocked as soon as the fragment is captured. The other 2 are only unlocked once you slot a certain number of gems into the medallion. This can be done first once the inner ring is complete, and then once the 4 outer pieces with gem-shaped slots are found. These gems are collected by taking control of the spawning pools, which are the second part of this mechanic. The ancient spawning pools are 7 groups of units, and each one of them has a corresponding gem you'll lock once they're under your control. Each pool has an associated settlement, and once it's under the control of any Lizardmen faction, they become available for use. You gain control of these settlements by inserting the majority of tablets into the slots along the bottom. Tablets are essentially small buffs you can place on these units, and they're found by winning battles. Once all slots are full, the pool will start generating units every few turns, and if you're the majority tablet owner, once all slots are filled, these units will be added to your Primeval Spawns pool. This is a new option below armies that is very similar to Blessed Spawnings. You pay no recruitment cost for these units, but you do pay upkeep, so whilst they can help you out in the short term, don't let the long-term cost catch you out. Ownership of the pool also grants you access to that pool's gem. When slotted into the medallion, these allow you to unlock more powerful effects from your fragments. However, this comes at the cost of the associated pools, pausing their spawning cycles. The higher the tier of the spawning pool, the more units will be spawned each time. The tier can be increased by simply spawning units, so as long as they stay active, they'll just keep getting better. There's also a new resource that feeds into this, known as astromantic power. This is gained via geomantic web buildings and certain medallion fragments, and can then be spent to take control of tablets owned by other factions. This allows you to gain control of new pools alongside gain more buffs for your unit spawns. Just be aware that each time you steal a slot, the cost of the next one increases, so it'll take a long time to take them all. Geomantic buildings also reduce the time between spawnings, so are more important than ever for the success of your faction. It takes into consideration the 3 highest tier buildings in your empire, so prioritize quality over quantity to really keep the units flowing. This also reduces the cooldown of the medallion portal. This is a teleportation ability unlocked upon slotting your first gem into the medallion. It allows you to teleport your faction leader close to medallion fragments on the map for 3 turns, before automatically being returned back to where they came from. If you capture the fragment, you can choose to immediately return back, so make sure you're ready to fight and attack your target as soon as you land. Now, whilst there are no actually new units in this mod, it does introduce primeval versions of a large chunk of the vanilla roster. The exact changes from the base unit are based on what tablets you place in each spawning pool, but this also means there'll always be improvements. With that in mind, take the stat cards with a very large grain of salt, as they'll vary depending on what you use. The spawn of the sun is based in Hexoatl, and you gain a Feral Bastillodon, Solar Engine Bastillodon, and Temple Guard. The spawn of the moon is based in Tlaxan, and you gain Pterodon Riders, Fire Leech Bowler Pterodon Riders, and the Javelin Skink Cohort. The spawn of the turtle are in the Great Turtle Isles, and gain Feral Cold Ones, a Feral Stegodon, and a Feral Carnosaur. The spawn of the first city are based in Itza, and you gain Shielded Saurus Warriors, Croxigors, and the Revivification Crystal Bastillodon. The spawn of the tower are in the Star Tower, and you gain Cold One Riders, Spear Cold One Riders, and Horned One Riders. The spawn of the Eternal City are in Oxial, and you gain a Stegodon, Ancient Stegodon, and Shielded Saurus Spears. And lastly, the spawn of the Sentinels are in the Southern Sentinels, and you gain Chameleon Skinks, the Skink Cohort, and Skink Skirmishers. Now to wrap up with a bit of a mod review. When you first boot up a campaign with this mod, it feels like one of the most confusing mechanics you will ever see. I really appreciate the effort that went into the explanation you get when you start your first turn, but in my opinion, it would be far better to spread this information out across each menu to make it a bit easier to put together. With that said, once you know how all of this works, it's really not that complicated and makes for a good addition to the faction. The medallion does take quite a while to get going since you need to collect quite a few pieces to start slotting in gems and getting access to more powerful effects. But once you unlock teleportation and can move freely around the map, things start to flow much better into each other. The spawning pools are a vastly superior version of Blessed Spawnings, which to this day, I'm still not entirely sure how they work. They put the agency in your hands and give you a clear route to gain access to powerful units, so a complete win. The whole tablets mechanic is kinda cool since you can buff these units in all kinds of ways, but they do become a little pointless once you have all of the spawning pools claimed. You can technically remove all tablets once you own all slots, giving you more ways to use them and customize your units. However, it's a pretty severe way to customize your tablet usage, rather than just being able to swap them out if you own the lot. There are also some other things about this mod that I would change. For example, the only way to claim fragments is to occupy the settlement they're in. However, once you have the fragment, you can't lose it, so have no incentive to keep these settlements, especially if they're on the other side of the world. Either make it so you can collect them by raising, or make it so you have to keep the settlements. Both would flow much better and potentially make things more interesting. Overall, the Medallion of Chaqua is only an improvement to one of the weakest races in the game for base mechanics. They have pretty much nothing without this, so adding it is a huge win. It can be a little bit confusing and slow to get going, but if you keep pushing through, it really comes into its own around turn 50 and you start to get some crazy return on your investment. It gives you a lot more direction and offers a whole new dimension of gameplay for everyone but Oxyotl, since he already has enough to worry about. If you're a fan of the lizards but have been avoiding them until they get an update, this mod is well worth giving a go. It may not land with everything, but it's still a vast improvement over vanilla and breathes new life into the lizards. But what I want to know is, what other mods do you think I should check out? Let me know in the comments below, like, subscribe, and if you want more Warhammer 3 mod videos, then check out this one all about the Warriors of Chaos in SFO.